So guys, there are two great insights you're going to find on the spiritual path. Both of them have changed my life. And out of these two, there's one that if you realize that, or if you just commit to the process, it's going to change your life, which will be the main theme of this video. But what are those two big insights that have personally changed my life? Seeing through the illusion of identity and the illusion of free will. And this illusion of free will, it's so beautiful. It can be adapted to your mindset, which I'm going to get into in this video. The first one quickly. If you're into non-duality, you would have inevitably heard of this practice, self-inquiry. We just take reality as it's presented and just assume, I feel conscious, real and free as this person, because that's how it's presented. So just quickly, self-inquiry, I won't get into a detailed discussion on it, but it will change your life. It's a big insight on this spiritual path. The only problem is people make it an identity. That's what leads people into Neo-Advaita, making this true absolute self an identity. It's meant to be a really cool insight for you to look at this reality with fresh eyes, also to slowly adjust your behavior in accordance with this realization. What is that realization? Just quickly. You feel conscious, real and free. That's how you naturally feel. That's what everyone feels. But on investigation, what are you conscious, real and free as? It stands to reason whatever you're aware of or conscious of, it can't be you because you know it. You're aware of it. You know and you're conscious of a world. It can't be you. You know and you're conscious of a body. So it can't be essentially you. You know and are conscious of your breath, your thoughts, your feelings. You know and are conscious of all these experiences, so they essentially can't be you. And that's a big insight for fear and anxiety, as I mentioned in other videos. To be able to detach from your thoughts and feelings, realize I'm conscious of these thoughts and feelings, they're not conscious of me, it opens up a little bit of space and allows you to put everything in a proper perspective. Instead of getting entangled in your thoughts and feelings, apparently, you never are really trapped, but you feel like you're trapped, you can stand back and become the witness. And again, that's what will slowly allow these thoughts and feelings to pass. But to stop these constant flare-ups of this fear, anxiety, anger, what's the root cause? Separation. Again, that's why the insight into your true nature, your non-dual true nature, will transform your life. Only if you don't make it an identity, which is, again, what Neo-Advaita does. No one here, nothing to do. I'm spiritually bypassing. There's no one here. I'm not hurting them. You've gone from I'm this person identity to the absolute. The absolute identity is to be realized. The nature of reality is non-dual, but it still appears dualistic. That's why I keep hammering spiritual practice. If reality is one, but it appears separate, what's the best expression of oneness? Service, love, devotion. If it's truly one appearing separate and you truly believe that, what do you call this? What are you trying to avoid and escape? It's you. Love it, embrace it, stop being scared of it. Now, to tell you just stop being scared, it's not going to work. But that's the whole goal we're slowly meant to ease ourselves into. You've got all this conditioning. It's like just say you were born a happy child, very positive, and then you were exposed to parents or people that put you down, gave you low self-esteem. Imagine if you were a really attractive person, pretty or handsome, and you had a lot of skills, but you were told by a caregiver, you're useless, worthless, you won't amount to anything. That's going to affect your self-esteem, even though it's not true. You are attractive, you're perfectly capable, but it's in your head that you're not, you're worthless. It's the same with this knowledge. You've been hammered, you're a separate person in a separate world, you're born, living, gonna die, you are this body, there's happiness in the world, conditioning for decades. So to get this insight is like, again, a person with low self-esteem being told, you're perfect, you're amazing. And you may hear that, but you're like, thanks for telling me, but I don't feel it. That's like what this knowledge is like. Non-dual knowledge is meant to show you your oneness with all reality, but you can't stop there. Good insight and all, well done, you've discovered it, but now what are you going to do? You need to put this knowledge into practice. One appearing separate, This is you. Serve it, love it, accept it, embrace it. Just as they say, heal all your trauma by acknowledging it, accepting it, letting it pass. Think of this reality, other people as different versions of you, different thoughts. Imagine your angry thoughts as angry people, happy thoughts as happy people. Embrace all of it. By embracing this reality, you're embracing yourself, and then you'll go from seeing oneness and feeling it. That's the first big insight. And non-duality is not for everyone. There's a lot of intellectualizing, which most people find boring. But all you need to do, non-dual or not, is have a devotion to a higher power. Higher power. You can picture this higher power as Jesus, God, Allah, Krishna, Mother Kali, Shiva. Or, if you don't like all that kind of stuff, you must acknowledge there's a conscious intelligence running through this reality. It's taking care of everything. Making the grass grow, the trees grow, animals do their thing, the sun, the moon. There's a flow, there's an order. Atheist or not, you must acknowledge this. And this video is about curing your fear and anxiety. I've made other videos on how you can witness these thoughts and feelings, deconstruct them and let them pass. But non-dual or not, here's the most powerful practice you're going to find. Ignore all this non-dual knowledge and focus on this. Then you can come back to non-duality later. Surrender. Surrender to this reality. Take some time. If you're very intellectual, take some time to investigate your free will. You'll realize thoughts are just appearing. You don't choose your thoughts. They're just appearing like clouds. You don't choose when to act on those thoughts either. A thought comes and then an action follows, or a thought comes and an action doesn't follow. I won't get into detail in this video, but basically investigate your free will. You'll realize it's an illusion. That's one method. But the other simple method is just surrender to this reality. In Advaita Vedanta, they say, God isn't a reality to be believed in, it's a reality to be known. If you're very skeptical, go down the non-dual path. They'll explain logically how this reality is God appearing separate and why you should be devoting. But if you're so blessed to just have faith, you're so lucky. That was my problem, so much thinking and overthinking. But if you just have this deep yearning for God, easy. All we need to do. There's God's will and there's your will. Your will is what you consciously try to make happen. And how often does what you consciously try to make happen work out? Not very often. It almost feels like it's not even 50-50. Feels like most of the time it goes wrong. But even if it is 50-50, it's showing you something. All you can do is put all your attention into performing the action to the best of your ability and then offload these results to God. Give these results back to God, or this reality. It's nothing to do with you. There's God's will, there's your will. Who wins out? Do you think your will is greater than God's? Nope. Here's the example I love using. If you're in a car in the passenger seat and you turn left, and God decides to turn left, you're going left. But if you turn left and God wants to go right, you're going right. Sorry, God's will supersedes your will. So instead of wasting all this time thinking, I'm freely doing this and I'm very eager for it to go right and I don't want it to go wrong, just give this will that God gave you back to God. Say, God, thank you so much for giving me this choice, this freedom, but I have tried to live my life. It is not working. I can't do it. I'm confused. So can I just offload this to you? And there's a beautiful saying in the Bhagavad Gita. However my devotees approach me, I reciprocate accordingly. Or, however my devotees approach me, I approach them in the same way. If you tell God, I can do it on my own. I've got this covered. It's my will. I don't need your help. God will go, I love you so much, try it. But if you tell God, look, I can't do it. This is too hard. Thanks for this free will. Can I give it back to you? It's too much for me. God will be like, okay, I'll take over. And here's a funny thing that you come to realize. What are you giving back to God? I'm telling you to surrender, to give back to God, this and that. But you know what? You can't give anything back to God because you never owned anything to begin with. That's like walking into God's house grabbing items, holding them, claiming they're yours, and then feeling a bit guilty and going, God, can I give these back to you? I'm so sorry for coming in, taking these off you. I'll give them back to you. God will be like, you've come into my house, you've claimed things that weren't yours. Even when you were owning them, they weren't yours. Or when you thought you owned them, they weren't yours. Thanks for giving them back. You never had them to begin with. So what you're truly offering, what you're truly surrendering, is just the notion of ownership and control. God is performing all actions. God is running the show. You've just got it in your head that you're performing actions. So that's the big relief that will come eventually. You know what this is like? It's like you're watching a movie and you're so absorbed in one of the characters. You're obsessed with that character. When they're happy, you're happy. When they're angry, you're angry. You're angry at the person screwing over the character you love. That's like this person. Why do you claim this body as yours? Why do you claim these objects? Did you create this body? No. Did you create the materials this body's made out of? No. Did you create the things that are sustaining this body? All the food, all the water, the sunshine, the oxygen? No. Did you create the knowledge in this person's head? All this knowledge that you're so proud of and think you know, did you create it? No, it was given. The body was given. Food, water was given. Sunshine, rain, given. Thoughts, given. All the people you love, given. All the people you hate and you think, I wish they weren't around, God gave you them too. Why? To get annoyed with this reality and do what you came here to do. Not to get entangled in the world, but to realize God. There's a God-shaped hole in your heart, as Blaise Pascal said. Your soul doesn't want this material world. It wants its union with God. And it's never separate from God, it just thinks it's separate. But your soul doesn't want this. That's why God is setting up all these conditions that are annoying to you, frustrating you to get annoyed with this world and to make your way back home to the place you never left. It's all God's game. And you know why we're fearful and anxious as we get older? Because remember as a kid, if you had loving parents, unfortunately this doesn't apply to everyone, but when you're a child, you look up to your parents. Their will is your will. You trust and surrender to your parents. They're taking care of everything. You thought of your parents like gods. They were all powerful, all knowing. They seemed to know everything. Even when you thought you were so smart and you were getting away with something, they knew. At a certain age, you realize they're just humans. Sometimes you start thinking at a certain age, I think I know more than my parents. Basically, you felt protected. You felt not in a state of fear. At a certain age, you realize, and if you don't have a faith in a God, at a certain age, you realize, I'm all alone. My parents aren't perfect, and I'm all alone, and I have free will, and I'm in a panic. That's where the God teaching comes in. God is like the parent. We are like the child still. We go from a child with our parents running the show, and ideally we're meant to go to, as an adult, God is running the show. We're still children, the children of God. And just like when you're a child, your parents did and said things that upset you. They took away your toys. They didn't let you eat candy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You started crying. You started getting angry. But looking back at it now, you know that was for your welfare. Same with this world. We want the toys of the world. Why didn't I get this? Why didn't I get that? You're kicking and screaming. Why is God putting me through this misery? Because again, your soul isn't here to get entangled in the material world. It's a distraction. You're here to do a job, which is transcend the material world. See the limitations of it. And that's not a fun process. When you go and exercise, it's uncomfortable. It's hard work lifting weights or running or doing whatever. But why are you doing it? For the better looking body or the healthy body. Why are you putting in so much work into studying to pass the course to get a better job? Spirituality is going to be the hardest thing you're going to do and the most rewarding. This is a training ground for your spiritual advancement. That's why life never seems quite complete. It's always annoying. Even when everything's perfect, then something messes it up. It's meant to irritate and frustrate you. And all this fear and anxiety is coming from thinking, I'm a separate person in a separate world. I think I'm doing it alone. There is no God. I don't believe in a God. I'm on my own. And I have to make decisions that are very critical. If I do it wrong, I'm screwed. If I do it right, thank goodness. But then there's a sense of fear. When you don't get something, you're angry, bitter, and resentful. When you get it, you either think, oh, it wasn't that great to begin with. Now I want more of it. You get more, you adapt. You get more, you adapt. Or you get it, you're happy, and now you're in fear. What happens if I lose it? That's the problem with a lot of attractive people. They put all their attention into their looks. Great and all, but then what happens when you start losing it? What happens when there's the next up and coming attractive person that's going to dethrone you from your crown? Or you're the strongest, or you're the most wealthiest. When you identify with what you have, there's a sense of fear because you're going to lose it. And inevitably, you're going to lose it. See how desiring this world causes misery and suffering. You're angry when you don't get it. When you get it, you adapt. You take it for granted. You want more and more. Eventually, you don't get more. You get frustrated. Or if you reach the top, you're scared of the next up-and-coming person. Fear, anger, attachment. This is why it's causing misery. So to get rid of all that, just tell yourself what you might have said as a teenager. I didn't ask to be born. I didn't ask to be here. That's a good mindset to keep now. Why? Because you didn't ask to be born. You didn't need to be here. Before your birth, you're in a state of peace, like in deep sleep. This world has appeared on you. If you study how it works, you realize life is just living life, or everything's happening according to God's will. When I first heard these teachings of free will, or everything's happening according to God's will, I just laid on the bed on a day off. I said, I don't have free will anyway. I'm just going to lay here. I'm not going to move. I still continue to breathe. I still continue to think. I still continue to hear birds chirping outside. I had the urge to go to the toilet. I went back, laid down. Then I got hungry. Got up, got a snack. Then I got a phone call. Then I was back into action. I was out of all this protesting the illusionary nature of free will. What I'm saying is, you can't stop acting. Even laying still is acting. The only thing about reality that doesn't change is change. Constant movement, constant flow. There's a part of you that's just stillness. That is not moving. That's what you are. That's been overlaid with all this body, movement, activity. So again, when you trust and surrender to this reality or to a God, all you're giving is the notion of ownership and control. You never really had it. You're giving back to God what God always had and you never had. And that's going to give you so much peace and freedom. That's going to offload all this fear and anxiety eventually. And how would you do this in practical life? This might sound like a great talk in a safe, comfortable room, but how do you do this practically? You feel like you've got free will, I'm assuming. So what would you do? Here's how I live my life. I just live my life as normal. When things are going well, easy mode. No need to think. Have fun, laugh, do whatever you need to do, easy mode. When a problem arises, first thought that comes to my head now. This is exactly what was meant to happen. This is God's will right now. God has created this problem. God will give me the solution. What surrendering truly means doesn't mean this body lays on the bed and goes, it's all God's will. I'm not going to take action. No, you need to remember this body is part of this reality. When you truly surrender, what that means is you're trusting and surrendering that when there's a problem, first of all, God created this problem. God will give me the solution. God will give me all the thoughts and feelings required to fix this problem. Or if I can't fix it, God will give me the strength and wisdom to realize there's nothing I can do. That's the only two things you can do with problems. Number one, there's a problem. Can I do anything about it? No. So why worry about it? Why stress for too long? Of course, it's natural to stress and worry, but ultimately you need to think, there's nothing I can do. Second option, there's a problem. This is God's doing. What's my option now? Think and feel whatever you think you're freely thinking and feeling. Eventually you realize I'm not doing any of the thinking and feeling. It's just happening automatically. And the solution will come. That's the nature of this reality. Good, bad, problem, solution, problem, solution. You just need a deep trust and surrender that the problem has arisen, all the thoughts and feelings will emerge and take care of the problem. That's what I mean by surrender. Our ego always likes to claim these teachings and apply it to the body. Oh, I'm just surrendering. Just say you're single and want a relationship. I'll just surrender and stay indoors, not do any effort. Someone will knock on my door and say, I'm your perfect partner. No, what it means is, here's the practical application. Do whatever you think you should do. Do whatever you want to do, but deep down knowing everything you think and feel you want to do isn't caused by you. That's the best way to say it. Don't overthink this. Freely do what you want to do. Freely try to make things happen. Make yourself the best partner. Put in all your effort into your job. Put in all your effort into the presentation you're nervous at work. See, this is a multi-layered teaching. On the level of the person, freely do everything to the best of your ability to make it happen, all the while knowing deep down it's God giving me all these thoughts and feelings. And when you're in that deep place of surrender, I don't know how to explain it, but your authentic self comes out. You got so much wisdom and knowledge in you, but it's being blocked by this ego that overthinks, hesitates, doesn't take action. When you totally surrender this ego, your genuine authentic self will come out. You'll be happy, playful, positive, manage problems with equanimity, a stable mind. Like I said, you'll go, can I do anything about it? No. I'm upset. I might be worrying a little bit, but I can't do anything. There's nothing in my human capabilities to stop this. But if there is a chance, freely do everything you think you should do. All the while knowing all these thoughts and feelings are coming from God. This is a very slow process. Don't expect to watch this video and go, oh, cool, sounds great. And then go out into the real world, it's not working. Spiritual practice. It takes years to practice anything. But the first notion you need to get out of your head is you've got free will and you're freely controlling your life. You're not. God has just given you the ability to perform actions. Whatever happens after you've performed those actions, up to God. You could do the best job possible, it all falls apart. You can do a half-assed job, think about it for 5 minutes, do the action, and it's really great. Not up to you. But while you feel like you got free will, freely surrender your will to God. Freely do everything you think you should be doing, but all the while knowing the result could have never been any different. That will get rid of all this guilt, shame, pride, and envy. We feel guilt and shame because we think we could have done something different. You couldn't have. That's not a feel-good line. That's literally, you can only do what you think and feel you should have done in that moment. And God made you think and feel that. So, no regrets. Don't have guilt and shame. You can feel sad, regret, that's natural. Something goes wrong, you feel sad. But don't add to it with guilt and shame. When you do something right, you feel a sense of pleasure. And people congratulate you and say, well done. But don't let that turn into pride and arrogance. You didn't do it. Just as you didn't do the negative action, ultimately, you didn't do the positive action. So guilt and shame, pride and arrogance will go. Same with others. You're not going to feel jealous and envious of them because they were doing what they were programmed to do. You're not going to judge and hate them because they're doing what they're programmed to do. And you might be saying, if I surrender to the moment and I go to jail, shouldn't I be angry? This is God's will. No. When you truly surrender to the moment, you know how someone in a state of true surrender is operating? Just say they had this realization and they commit an act of crime. Then they're found guilty and put in jail. Here's how they would think. First of all, an enlightened person wouldn't be committing crime because to become enlightened, to realize free will is an illusion, you need a certain mindset already. As Sri Ramakrishna says, only those who have realized God can claim free will is an illusion and claim God is the doer of all actions. But those that are committing sin don't even believe in a God. If you believe in a God, you love a God and you do what a God says, which is not doing these terrible actions. But just say an enlightened person did a crime and went into prison, what would their mindset be? My body and mind committed a crime. My body and mind went to court. My body and mind was found guilty. My body and mind is in prison. They'll just take it as it comes. They're not going to say, but Your Honour, it wasn't me, it was the body and mind. So don't arrest me, don't put me in prison. The judge will say, you're right, we're not arresting you, we're arresting your body and mind. You didn't do the crime, your body and mind did, and now your body and mind's going to go to prison. If the judge was enlightened, he could use it back on you. But I'll wind down this video, guys. Basically what I'm saying is, if you truly believe everything's happening according to the will of God, you'll accept everything as it comes. Your body and mind commits a crime. Your body and mind goes to prison. You're not going to kick and scream. And also, like I said, to truly believe this, you need to believe in a God to begin with. And to believe in a God is to love a God and to do everything God is requiring from us. So Sri Ramakrishna also says this: those that have realized God will never make a false step. See, so there's no way to cheat the system. But in closing, all you need to do, and this will help with your fear and anxiety and all those negative thoughts and feelings, surrender to this reality. Whether you believe in God as Jesus, Krishna, whatever, or just as the conscious intelligence taking care of this reality, surrender to the process. Give up the illusion of control that you never had. And that will bring so much peace and happiness in your life. And again, just to end this, to reinforce this in a practical sense, first thought, when something bad happens, this is exactly what was meant to happen. This is God's will. Next thought, can I do anything about it? No. So why worry? Of course you're going to feel upset a little bit, but realize, I can't do anything about this. Or, second option, it's happened, it's God's will, can I fix it? Is there anything I can freely do to fix this? If so, yes, do everything in your power to freely fix this. If it doesn't work, it's God's will. If it works, it's God's will. You need that mindset. And again, that's going to take time. You've got so much programming and conditioning thinking it's my will, it's my way. I'm stressed if I don't do it right. It's slowly programming you to see reality as it is. So as always, guys, I hope this video helps, and I'll see you beautiful people in the next one. But until then, take care of yourselves.